Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel today. Today we have one of the talented students from Pakistan, from one of the oldest and best medical school in Pakistan as well, Dr. Talha Nazir. Welcome, Dr. Nazir.
Well, hello, my name is Talha Nazir, Dr. Talha Nazir. I have graduated from King Edward Medical University, one of the prestigious college in Lahore, Pakistan. I have I had started my journey doing FSC and then medical college. Now I am doing my house job, that is internship after my graduations. That's my introduction.
Perfect. Thank you for introducing yourself. So tell us what inspired you to take USMLE or take the journey of USMLE. You've done step one. Tell us, we understand that you scored more than 250, which is a very nice score. What inspired you to take USMLE journey?
My inspiration was always go for the best. Just go for the best. The best training in the world is from the US. So I have followed that path. And I think the US path is one of the shortest too. Just we have to go for USMLE and then direct towards residency. We don't have to do more internship years or something else. That's why I chose USMLE.
Okay, sounds good. So let's come back to step one, which you scored really, really
Yes.
high. So what were your primary sources when you studied for it, and what gave you opportunities to gain this high score?
I had started my preparation after my graduation last year. It took me around 16 months, including 6 months of COVID. So around 6 months, I have prepared for step one. I have used I have used first aid. That's my primary source. That's a solid thing. First aid is everything. Then Uworld, and I have added pathoma for pathology. So basically, these three were my primary resources: first aid, pathoma, and Uworld. Revise again and again.
Okay, so tell us in those 16 months as you started with UWorld, the first aid and pathoma for pathology, and then UWorld in that regard. So how many times you studied first aid and how many revisions? And if you give us some of your timeline wise, that first time when you're doing it, this is the strategy you followed, then you revised it, and then come back to pathoma and UWorld. So can you give us a little bit more detail about in these three areas?
Well, I had graduated from King Edward Medical University. So I had done with internal medicine, surgery, and everything. So I started straight with first aid and then UWorld. I had to go through all the system like CVS. Like I have to read all of the text from the first aid. Then I I also watch, sometimes I also watch DNB videos. These are the shortest videos just to revise everything. Then I had I had to solve all the UWOD question of that system. So one system is complete, then same thing I have repeated for another system and another system. That's how I covered everything.
Okay, at one point of time you
That
started.
was my first.
Okay, sorry. At what point of time you started mixing the systems in U World, and did you do it timed ways, or did you just do as and when, or how many? Did you sit down and make it a
Yeah,
timed or non-timed?
the first aid I have used only tutor mode. So I really wanted to learn everything and note everything, to grasp and revise everything. So I didn't use the timed method. I just click on the tutor and then 40, make a block of 40 questions and solve it. So it took me around 6 months, 6.5 months to cover my first aid, the first aid and pathoma and UWORD. So after that, I have revised everything again, my notes only. I have I had passed the UWORD, just read everything, the notes, pathoma. and the UR. Around that time, I was deficient in biostats and ethics. So I have used some extra resources for that. The I have I had solved step 2 CK question for biostat and ethics. When there is a UR review for biostat and ethics. I had also solved MBOS questions for biostat and ethics. So this is important because USMLE have increased the percentage for that question, these questions, ethics and general principles and biostat. So we have to cover a lot from these sections. So so that was my complete package now. The first read was complete. Then I started my second read. The same thing, I just open my UWord and start solving on a timed mode. Wherever I see my mistakes are repeating, so I open my first aid and revise that section again. That's how I covered my weak spots and
Absolutely.
completed my second read.
Well, that's a great strategy that you not only looked at the main resources, then you have some additional resources. You
Yes,
went to step two to cover for biostats and then ethical questions, and then you
first.
went back and start doing timed one to capture it as well. That's an excellent strategy you deployed. Can you tell us that how many times you did the U World incomplete? Like first time it took you 6 months, but how many times you repeated them, and did you take any NBME exams before your final exam?
Yes, during my second read, I was using time mode. So I had solved around 30-40%. Then I took my first NBME, and then after every like 10 days, I took another NBME, and then another 10 days. During those 10 days, I revised my USMLE UWord time mode, and then covered my weak spots based on those mistakes I made on UWord and NBME, and then took another NBME. I took almost all the NBMEs from 16 to 24
Okay.
after every 10 days, 5 days.
Okay. Okay. So, and then the scores, did you worry about the scores? Were they comparing it to what you wanted to, or this is the same score you're getting in MB comparable to step one?
Yeah, the score was comparative. I scored like 250 plus on both UWord assessments, and in NBME is 21, 22, 23, and 24. But on exam day, there were some difficulties, uh, like mind game. You can say that. Like you are tired. And my advice, what I did wrong is I used too much coffee on that day that I shouldn't use. Yes. So to cope with that, don't use anything extra. Nothing. Because on the exam day, everybody got extra energy. So 8 hours is, I think we can deal with that. 8 hours, 8 hours is too much because we are studying like 8 to 10 hours daily on our daily basis. So just keep on your routine and look anything, like anything you eat on your routine basis, like your lunch and some candy bars, and I think that's it. Don't choose any extra resources for stimulants or something. That will really help.
That's a very important message you're giving to our learners and viewers who are watching today is just don't do anything unusual. Go with your usual routine and you will be already adrenaline rush will be there. So
Yes.
you don't need an extra stimulant for that part. So let's come back to your strategy of the day you deployed. Tell me a little bit, when you're studying for a long time, there are ups and downs in these 6 and 8 months. How did you cope up with some of those lows when things are not going your way, your scores are coming down, or you're not able to do study as much as, and how you took breaks during those study periods as well? So if you give a brief insight into it, how you dealt with that situation or those situation, that'll be really helpful.
First of all, on my side, I focus on my goal. Like I have to do it. There is no other way. When I feel down, like my score isn't what I want, like I'm making more mistakes on my word, so I just close my book for a day or two. Just close my book, go to sleep, or watch Netflix. Just don't think about the books. After 2 days, y- you will want to read your books again. You want to open your books. So when you come back, you can see all your mistake with with fresh eyes. Like you are not going to repeat those questions again, those mistakes again. So that's how I deal with that. Apart from that, I watch Netflix a lot. Like during that time, I'm used to watch seasons, like binge watch, like 20, 30 episodes in a row on my bed.
Or any
Eat
Bollywood
on my
movies
bed.
with Shah Rukh Khan or Salman Khan movies?
Yeah, I watched a lot of those movies during my childhood, but now only some of them.
Some of them. No, absolutely. Okay, good. I think good point. To deal with the ups and downs and during the time, it's in taking a break, just detaching for a day or
Yes.
8 to 12 hours, and then dive back into it as well. So let's come back to the strategy of that day. What you everybody prepares for that exam day, like, okay, this is what I'll be doing it 3 blocks in a row, and then break for 10 minutes, 10 minutes, or I'm just going to do 1 block, or maybe I'm going to do all 4 blocks and going to take a half an hour break and remaining 4 blocks. So what you planned based on your learning from others, and actually what did you deploy in there? Was there any difference from what you planned that day?
Yeah, my actual plan was like take 5 to 10 minutes break after every block. Don't go for 2 blocks. There is enough time for every block. Like if you take 5 minutes break, just go out, go to the washroom, eat something, drink water or something, and then just come back. It will take like 5 minutes of your time. Uh, Take a small break after every block. Don't go for like a rush that I am going to go for 2 blocks and then take a long break. That's a mistake. Like after you complete the first block, you think like you have the energy for the second block, but don't go for that. You will tired up like after 10 to 15 questions, and then you will mess up the rest of the questions. Like that's a mistake. That was my strategy.
Okay.
Like you and an important question is an important point is, like you can save your 15 minutes review. Like you can watch it at your home and then skip that section.
Absolutely. Good strategy that you can add to your break time, the review you already seen
Yes.
it before as well. All right. I think very important what you've talked today. So if you can summarize for our viewers, what are the three main points you want to give away to those who are preparing for a step 1 right now or a step 2 CK right now, from your experience and scoring high? What are the any three major take home points you want to tell them?
Yeah, I would like to add, like, first point is select some resources. Like I have selected first aid, Pathoma, and Dewar. Though those were my main resources. Like believe in them. Like sometimes you think like these are not enough. Like if I'm solving a question in Dewar and it was they asked for something minor, and I think, oh, if that kind of question come in my exam, I will lose it. But don't focus on those questions. Everybody got it wrong, so don't worry about that. Believe on all your basic resources. Like you have selected first aid, so believe on them. Exam will come from that. So second, don't lose hope. Like I'm going to do it, so I'm going to do it. That's it. If you are feeling down, do something you like for a day. It that time is much more important, because if you don't take breaks, at the end of the day you are just going to leave it. like you don't believe in yourself, like depressed and everything. Just take breaks. Like you can read for 6 days and take a Sunday off, anything you like. So last say and best of luck everyone
Thank you
who
so
is
much.
preparing for their journey.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Nazir for being with us and sharing your experience. I'm sure our viewers will find it really, really useful and hope they can also score high as you did. We wish you all the best for your next steps and hope we can see you soon in America, probably next year.
Yes,
For our viewers,
inshallah.
please do like and subscribe our channel. Write in comment section what you want to hear from, and we'll be happy to record and bring many more talented candidates through this channel. Thank you for watching it.